And now, broadcasting from the Ginger and Baker studio here in the heart of the Music District in beautiful downtown Fort Collins, Colorado, it's Live at Lunch on KRFC 88.9 FM. I'm your host today, David V., and today's special musical guest is the Charlie Stevens Band.
Take the bad luck with you when you go. You can take the bad luck as you walk on out the door. You can take the bad luck, I can't stand it anymore. Won't you take the bad luck, it wasn't here before. Before I met you, my life was going well. When I was playing poker, no one could call my tell. Now when I'm bluffing, everyone seems to know. If you take my heart, please take the bad luck when you go. Well, you can take the bad luck with you when you go. You can take the bad luck as you walk on out the door. You can take the bad luck, I can't stand it anymore. Won't you take the bad luck, it wasn't here before. Once we got together, my life got so much worse. All of my friends swore you had me in a curse. Well, I ain't trying to blame ya, don't you know it's true? I fell into this bad luck on the day when I met you. Well, you can take the bad luck with you when you go. You can take the bad luck as you walk on out the door. You can take the bad luck, I can't stand it anymore. Won't you take the bad luck, it wasn't here before. Now that you're gone, my heart is filled with pain. Good luck has returned, but you know it ain't the same. Every time I gamble, I always seem to win. And I would trade it all, dear, just to hold you once again. Well, you can bring the bad luck, bring it on back home. You can bring the bad luck, I can't stand the fact you've gone. You can bring the bad luck, you know I love you so. I'd rather have the bad luck than to have no love at all. Yes, I'd rather have the bad luck than to have no love at all.
The Charlie Stevens Band here on KRFC's Live at Lunch, streaming live at krfcfm.org. Let's introduce the band. Everybody had a chance to play a little High Lonesome music there, didn't you? That was sweet, really pretty. Under fiddle is Clark Wright. How you doing, Clark?
I'm doing very well, David.
Where are you from, Clark?
Well, I've lived in Fort Collins for about 32 years now.
Okay, so you just got here?
I just got here, but I lived in South Dakota. Mystic, South Dakota is what I call my
Wonderful.
hometown.
Oh, even though you've been here 32 years, but I understand that.
Sure.
Okay. Well, and let's see, with banjo, Ron Lynam.
Like
and Ron, you're doing dobro and lap steel and all kinds of stuff over there.
I get compelled to haul lots of stuff around.
That's why you took an individual vehicle.
That's right.
And where are you from?
Well, I'm originally from Wichita, Kansas, but I've lived in Colorado for 44 years, so I'm a semi-native. Been here in Fort Collins for 35 years now.
Like most of us, from someplace else.
We are from somewhere else.
And of course, Charlie Stevens on guitar and vocals.
Yeah,
How you doing,
David.
Charlie?
Thanks for having us.
And let's see here. Now, you're originally from New Haven, Connecticut.
That's right.
How the heck did you work your way out here?
Well, I moved out here with a band I was in back in New Haven. We were called Carbonated Insight, and we played together for many years there. And we decided to move out here and give it a try. And I'm actually the only person that stayed out here. Everybody else moved back within a year. And I ended up going to UNC and kind of putting down some roots here. And I've been here about 7 years now.
And you also play with Titanic here in town?
That's right.
All right. Keeps yourself busy, I'm sure. And on bass, we have Dana Giovi.
Ooh, that was good. Right on the money.
Did that phonetically. So where are you
phonetic. I'm from Bridgewater, Massachusetts.
from? All right.
Yep.
Again, how the heck did you work your way out to Colorado?
My wife went out here for school, and I followed her. And I love it out here.
Right.
Music scene's great. The mountains are great.
Yeah. How long have you been here in the Fort Collins area?
Probably about 5 years.
All right. And then on mandolin, we have Nate Schwartz.
Hi, David.
Schwartz, without the C.
That's right.
So how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Great. And you're from here, this area originally?
I'm from Springfield, Ohio, originally.
Ohio. Okay.
I've been here about coming on 20 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
How'd you work your way out from Ohio?
Via Alaska.
Oh, really?
Like everybody else, right?
Well, I mean, that is kind of unusual.
No, I was living up in Alaska for a long time. Went to University of Alaska up there, and
Where's that? Anchorage?
Fairbanks.
Fairbanks.
Actually, yeah, 60 miles from the Arctic Circle.
Woo. A little bit warmer here.
Had a good little bluegrass band up there with some guys I've known since kindergarten, and we actually came out here on springtime to do a little tour, and fell in love with it. It was snow and sunny. So I figured, hey, I'll try
a little
this
bit
out
both.
for a while, and
If I'm
here I
not
am.
mistaken, bluegrass is kind of popular in Alaska, isn't
Very,
it?
yeah, very.
They got a pretty big scene up there.
There is. There's some really world-class musicians up there playing.
Well, glad you're down here instead.
Well, great to be here. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
All
and
right.
keeping me.
Now, you guys are working on some new music as a group in an album.
That's right.
Early stages, but a lot of the stuff you'll be playing today is going to be on that album, hopefully.
That's correct. Yeah, a lot of it's brand new material.
All right. Well, I really enjoyed the lyrics on Bad Luck. That was fun. Speaking of lyrics, we've got one coming up here, Live Free or Die. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that one?
Oh, boy. Well, that one I wrote in kind of an interesting way where I just kind of thought about themes that happen in bluegrass music and just kind of composed a story about different themes that I found common. So it seems kind of like a weird way to write it, but it actually turned into its own story, and I'm pretty happy with it. But that's kind of the inspiration for this. I was actually in Moab at the time and kind of inspired by the beautiful surroundings, and yeah, it's about an outlaw. So I don't want to give it too much away. Maybe we'll just sing it for you, and then people can kind of decide what it's about for themselves.
Charlie Stevens Band here on Live at Lunch.
There's a stream from the mountain that flows through the canyon. Many miles must that water roll. But this part of the creek has run dry and I can't sleep. I've been riding this range for too long. the sheriff wasn't chasing, but I wasn't scared to face him. My time would come when called home by the Lord. In the canyon I was waiting, without a moment's hesitation. I shot him dead before that lawman could draw. Now when the deputies finally caught up with me, I was camping out beneath the double arch. Well, they found me while I was sleeping, I was taken, I was beaten. My captors hummed the lonesome funeral march. Then I heard the gallows bell ringing outside of my cell. Them deputies like to see me hang, but I busted myself free when I stole the jailhouse key. Nighttime I was on a northbound train. Well, I rode that track for days through the hills and far away, dreaming about my old home place. But an outlaw, he must roam with nowhere to call his home. Memories every time I see your face. When that train reached its end, I got out and rode again. It don't matter where I go, it's all the same. But I'll miss you when I'm gone, that's why I'll sing this lonesome song. Well, thankfully your memory remains. Mourn for me too long. Well, I'll find my resting place among the stars. Well, I'd rather be way down 6 feet beneath the ground than spend my life behind those prison walls. In the next world, may I find a way to lead a better life. Promise only that which I can keep. So say a prayer for me, but darling, don't you weep. Just burn some candles by my head and feet. Burn some candles by my head and feet.
Charlie Stevens Band here on Live at Lunch. That one was fun.
Thank you.
Okay, you guys. One thing I've noticed about the band is you're giving everybody a chance to get their licks in, and it's fun. It's a nice jam. You know, it's bluegrass, but it's also kind of traditional and Americana-ish. I kind of like the blend that you've got going on.
Thank you.
You know, Charlie, I know you also play, like say, in Titanic, and that's more of a soul, funk, blues type groove. So
that's right. Dana also plays in Titanic. And you've been in the band longer than me. Would you like to say a few words about that project?
Well, yeah, we just play a lot of funk stuff, you know, have a horn section. Our lead singer, Monique Ford, she kills it. She's an amazing singer. We're starting to work on original material, so
which is great.
Look out for that.
And we had you at the CSU tailgate sessions last fall.
That's right.
And that was fun. And I guess I'm going to go around real quick. I guess I'll start with Nate. What got you into mandolin, of all instruments? What
Bill Monroe.
Was it? Your parents were listening to that? Or?
No. To tell you the truth, mandolin, I was a guitar player for many years before, and just fell in love with the sound of the mandolin, and Bill Monroe and David Grisman, and then from there, kind of visited all of them, I guess you could
So
say.
you weren't listening to speed metal or anything in high school?
Well, yeah, I was.
Yeah?
I definitely was.
The reason I asked that is I talked to so many mandolin players and flat pickers who literally listened to speed metal growing up, and I was like, at first I didn't get that connection, and everybody says it's the fast playing.
It's the
fast,
shredding, man.
yeah.
Bluegrass has been described as folk music on overdrive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think there's some connection there. It's like as heavy metal as you can get without playing electric guitar.
Exactly.
Yeah, and banging your head.
Yeah.
And these F5 mandolins, these American mandolins, they kind of almost have distortion. They have like an overdrive, like, I don't know, they just have a natural crunchy kind of sound. So
It's got to
for
be
me,
fun.
It was a natural progression from Eddie Van Halen to David Grisman.
Yeah. Well, Clark, what got you into the fiddle, violin?
Well, not as what you would think. I got a fiddle, and I was in a band at the time, and I learned one song on the fiddle, and played it in the band, and the guys didn't fire me or kick me out or anything. So I learned 2 songs on the fiddle. So now I had 2 songs, and then that band broke up, and I joined another band, and I was the fiddler.
I was going to say, I know 2 fiddle songs.
Yeah,
So,
no, I was the fiddler in the next band, so I kind of learned on the job. And
so it wasn't a thing growing up that you thought, hey, in high school or whatever, you were playing
Not a
violin in
chance.
orchestra or whatever, huh?
I had not. I played guitar and I played some mandolin, and so I was kind of a utility man. And this is actually a 5-string fiddle. This has the extra low. Has the low C note on it. And
Interesting.
It makes it so that I can make cow noises.
Really important.
One
part
step
of it.
away from a cello, huh?
Yeah,
Or viola.
More like a 5-string viola,
Yeah.
but with the scale of a fiddle.
Sweet.
Make sense?
Yes, it does to me. Well, Ron, speaking of journeyman and jack of all trades, how'd you get into all these various instruments?
Well, it's kind of a disease. I started playing banjo in 1972. I graduated from high school, so you can do the math and figure out how old I am. But I kind of got turned on to it by the dirt band, and then I'd listen to Flat and Scruggs some growing up, and of course watching the Beverly Hillbillies and stuff. But I just got bitten by the bug, and I went out and bought a banjo, and I spent a lot of time trying to fumble around and learn how to play it. And then out of the blue, I got a call from these guys that needed a banjo player. And because I played the 3-finger bluegrass style, they were really excited. I'm sure I wasn't any good, but the guy they had before played with a flat pick, and so it was more of a Dixieland kind of thing. So, and I went from there, and you get into jam sessions with people, and you're playing with a fiddler, for example, and you go, I want to play that too. And before you know it, you have one. And my parents, I was living at home at the time, my parents, believe it or not, tolerated me learning how to play the banjo. When I picked the fiddle up, they said, shut the door. Close the door. We don't want to hear that. But then I played guitar before, but not real seriously. It just kind of evolved from there, really.
What got you into the dobro and the lap steel and all that?
Well, I that first band, there was a song they did, Tom T. Hall tune, the year Clayton Delaney died, that not a banjo tune, and the guy that played dobro in the band played guitar on that. So he said, here, do this. So I picked it up. They're tuned very much alike. They're tuned to an open G chord, although I tuned the dobro
Like
a
Keith
little
Richards.
differently. Yeah. And so started doing that, but not seriously. I didn't own one until 2006 or something. And the same thing with the steel. The steel and the dobro are tuned the same. And so that's just an electric dobro. And actually, the steel is really an electric board. But I love the sound of it.
It's a touch, man. It's a special touch, though.
It's
Not everybody can do it.
Well, it's different. And Clark and I both are big fans of Western swing music and the straight
Bob
steel.
Wills and
Bob
things like
Wills,
that.
yep.
Hey, the rest of us are too.
Well,
Okay.
You younger fellers are probably into that too. But anyway, I just love the sound of it, and so I try to emulate that. But there's a danger in being a jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah. All right. I think we're going to the next tune. Is it Beverly and Success? And Beverly, that's an interesting title. Is that a person, place?
Well, I'd like to leave it a little bit up to your interpretation because
Okay.
sometimes people come up with some pretty interesting ideas of
Interpretations,
what
huh?
it's about. But no, it was just a fiddle tune I wrote, and yeah, the name is kind of a play on words, leave or be. So it's supposed to have when I wrote the song, I was picturing kind of walking away and leaving it all behind. And I was also inspired by this song called Squirrel Hunters by John Hartford, which I'm told is like, or I don't know if it's by him, that's the version I know, but I'm told it's an old Civil War song, and they would march to it, and that would kind of keep them
occupied while they marched all day. So I kind of wanted to get a feel, that type of feel in there, and I don't know, the Beverly kind of reminded me of like a Civil War general or something like that. So it's kind of what I like to think about. But I like to leave it open to interpretation. Sometimes people come up to me and they have some pretty interesting ideas about it. So we'll leave it there.
Yeah, it's the song that we play when Charlie has us marching.
Oh, okay. So you march in place on the show.
Ready? Here we go.
measure your success? Do you count your money as a way to find your bliss? Do you count your friends and family, health and happiness? How do you measure your success? Some folks work hard yet still they're far from rich. Every dollar must be saved, every penny must be pinched. But they come home at night to their children they can kiss. How do you measure your success? How do you measure your success? Is it your shiny car or the fancy way you dress? What good's the money if you got no one to share it with? How do you measure your success? Well, do you have some secrets to confess? Have you lived a life of sorrow and regrets? Or as you look back now, do you see you've done your best? How do you measure your success? How do you measure your success? Do you listen to the heart beneath your breast? You ever wake to realize we're all truly blessed? How do you measure your success? We'll take a shot now, even if you miss. Can't keep your head down just to hide your cowardice. You pursue your dreams even if you're penniless. How do you measure your success? How do you measure your success? Think you got nothing? Well, I'll show you folks with less. Do your friends and family have their health and happiness? Tell me, how do you measure your success? Oh yes, how do you measure your success?
Charlie Stevens Band live on Live at Lunch here on KRFC's Live at Lunch 88.9 FM. What's the best place for people to get information on Charlie Stevens Band as far as upcoming shows, where to obtain your music when it does the new album comes out, things like that?
Yeah, I have a Facebook, Charlie Stevens Music at Facebook. I have an Instagram. I also have a website that has links to both those, so that might be the easiest way to find it, charliestevensmusic.com. And I have an events calendar on there. In the bottom, there's links to all of our social media stuff, so usually Facebook and Instagram, I'll put out alerts about our upcoming shows. And I also have a YouTube channel where there's a link to that one as well.
Where you teach guitar.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. I do a few things. I have some interviews on there, some guitar lessons, and also some live performances.
Excellent. Okay. As far as upcoming shows, what do you guys have coming up here in the next couple months?
Well, I think our next thing is going to be at, Foco MX. Titanic is going to be playing there. We're going to be at Avo's on Saturday the 29th, April 29th, that is, the Saturday at Foco MX at 9:15. I'll be doing a duo set with my good buddy Dave Jensen at Visit Fort Collins that same day, the 29th at 6 p.m. Then our full band here is going to be playing in Longmont at Grossenbart as part of an event on May 13th. Then we'll be at Oscar Blues, and also in Longmont, Oscar Blues Homemade Liquids and Solids on June the 2nd. And then I'm going to be doing a student showcase. I'm a private teacher here in Fort Collins. I have a studio in Fort Collins, and all of my students are going to be doing a performance at Avogadro's on June 4th. It's a Sunday. It'll be in the afternoon, probably around 2 o'clock or so, so that should be really fun. I'll probably convince these guys to come and play a little bit with me. And then we're all headed to the Black Hills Bluegrass Festival, the 6/23 through 6/25 in South Dakota, and we're going to be playing every day of that festival. We're doing about 4 sets, and Many of us are teaching workshops on Saturday mornings. That will be a really fun time.
You guys got a busy lineup. And I know, Clark, you're anxious to tell us a little bit about what's going on, too.
I in here, Dave, and mention that Nate and I also play in a band called Blue Grama. That is, if Nate can make it to that show. No,
great band.
We're going to be at the Swing Station on March 31st.
Oh, wonderful.
So I would like to mention that.
Okay.
Yeah,
any other Blue Grama shows coming up after that?
Yes. I can't tell you what they are.
What's their website?
They have a Facebook page, Blue Grama Bluegrass. And that's how you get
to their access their upcoming
right.
schedule. How about Ron? You got any side projects happening too?
Well, yeah, my wife and I have a little duo called Sunflowers and Sawdust.
Oh, really?
She is a pretty expert gardener, and I make a lot of sawdust on the side. And we don't really have a lot coming up. We do a lot of private stuff. And then I'm going to go to Ireland at the end of April with a band called High Plains Tradition. I'm just kind of a hired gun on that trip.
Where in Ireland are you playing?
Mostly in the south and west. It starts almost, if you're familiar with Ireland, the Dingle Peninsula is about as far west as you can go before you go swimming. And we're starting out at a little festival there, and then just a little tour through the southern part of Ireland, County Cork, and on over to Waterford and whatnot. So that'll be a lot of fun.
How exciting is that? Huh?
It's a lot of fun. I've done it a couple of times with them, and we just have a ball.
Great time of year. Hopefully not so rainy and dreary like.
Well, this will be my first springtime tour over there. I've done summer, winter, and fall so far. So we'll see. Pretty much the weather's the same all the time, though.
Oh, well.
High of
Hopefully
44,
you hit there when
low
it's
of
sunny and fun. And then, Nate, have you got any other side projects happening?
Just Blue Grama with Clark. That's about it. Yeah.
Well, Dave, I also have one more side project that I'd like to mention.
Go ahead.
I also play music with my wife, and we do a lot of private shows at a lot of retirement facilities. We're trying to recruit Nate into that duo.
You are?
Well, yeah.
He's working hard on you today, Nate.
No pressure, but you got to answer right now.
What do you call it?
We call it Stardust Melodies, because we play music that your grandma would think was old.
Well, that's probably why it works so well in the
It does.
nursing homes.
It's stuff that we like, stuff with melody. So.
Well, Dana, are you doing anything in addition to this and to Tonic?
I'm doing a run of shows with the guys from Dead Floyd. That'll be at the end of April, and I think we're playing a show at the Mishawaka. The dates, they're not in my head.
Go to Dead Floyd's.
Dead Floyd's social media, it's all over there.
All right.
David, there is one more you asked about other projects. I guess we got this thing called the Shook Wagon.
Shuck Wagon, we're coming up at Avo's with Taylor Shuck,
Okay.
who plays in a band called the Fretliners, and
you
he
guys play
put the arm on us to...
Yeah.
Anybody else going to be at that?
Well, I'll be there now.
Okay.
Now that I know
There you
about
go.
Yeah, Avo's on April 1st.
April Fool's Day.
This is not a joke.
And it's not a joke. Yeah, I was just going to say. Well, looks like next you've got coming up is Indigo AstroTurf, a fun instrumental. I just happened to play that myself on the NoCo Flow show yesterday afternoon,
Thank
Thursdays.
you. Yeah, this is a song I wrote before I really got into bluegrass. I came from the jam band community, and I didn't really know what bluegrass was, so I came up with the term Indigo AstroTurf, kind of blue, kind of grass. So that was sort of what I was going to call my style, as opposed to a traditional bluegrass guy, since I'm, from the Northeast. But yeah, that's the mystery behind this song.
There's that, and then Will I Always Be in Love is going to follow that up, you think?
Yep, and that's kind of another original, sort of in the style of an old Hank Williams tune or something. So kind of two different tunes coming up here.
Charlie Stevens Band
So we
here.
are actually an Indigo AstroTurf band.
That's right.
That's awesome.
I think that's a good
I
description.
like that. I like that.
Right.
got to switch.
1, 2, 3.
Will I always be in love with you? Will my mind ever believe we're really through? Will I one day wake up ready to begin my life anew? Or will I always be in love with you? Our romance only lasted briefly, but you burned yourself a place inside of my memory. For you it seemed so easy to forget me, but I'll just sit and wander these words nightly. Will I always be in love with you? Will my mind ever believe we're really through? Will I one day wake up ready to begin my life anew? Or will I always be in love with you? When you told me you didn't want me any longer, well, you broke my heart in oh so many ways. As time goes by, these feelings just grow stronger. I think of you, dear, each and every day. But will I always be in love with you? Will my mind ever believe we're really through? Will I one day wake up ready to begin my life anew? Or will I always be in love with you? I know I should be moving on now and going out on dates with other girls, but I've still got you under my skin somehow. Don't want no one else in this wide world. But will I always be in love with you? wake up ready to begin my life anew? Or will I always be in love with you?
Charlie Stevens Band here on KRFC's Live at Lunch. I want to take this quick bit of time to remind everybody to check out KRFC's RadioVision YouTube channel. And when you subscribe, the little tab right at the top of the page, you'll get notifications every week about who is going to be performing that week. And you can also have access to the I'm probably 100 shows in there now that you can check of past Live at Lunches that have been up there for a while. It benefits the artists, helps us promote Colorado artists, by the way, and we appreciate you doing that. Also, I'd like to thank our video crew here today, and Jeremy Smith, Eric Delano, and then Colton Boening and Andy Howes on the audio. And thanks, guys. As always, fantastic job. Appreciate it. You guys, looks like we've got about 10 minutes left in the show, and if you'd like to give a shout out or touch base on something that maybe we didn't talk about today, now's you guys' chance.
Well, we'd just like to thank you for having us again, and I think we'll use the rest of our time to play a few more songs if we can.
All right. It's been a pleasure having the Charlie Stevens Band here on KRFC's Live at Lunch, and you're going to finish up with Feels Like Going Home and Pawn Shop Special.
1, 2, 3, 4. Seems like every road I take, every rundown interstate, somehow leads the way to where I need to be. You can't escape your fate when you try to run away. Feeling sorry for myself, forgetting that I have my health, forgetting my own song, but I keep on keeping on. When I'm not feeling strong, I feel a great wind drive me on, and it feels like going home. Yes, it feels like going home. Yes, it feels like going home. Yes, it feels like going home. And it feels like growing strong. Yes, it feels like being young. And it feels like something has just begun. And it feels like falling in love. Yes, it feels like getting it done. And it feels like finally moving on. Yes, it feels like your own song. And it feels like getting stoned. Yes, it feels like it feels like going home. And it feels like going home. Yes, it feels like going home. Mama, I'm coming home. Yes, it feels like going home.
Thank you for listening to Live at Lunch, and thank you to the Music District here in the heart of Fort Collins, Colorado. Live at Lunch is produced by KRFC 88.9 FM in the Ginger and Baker studio. If you'd like to appear on Live at Lunch, email our music director, David Vacek, at david@krfcfm.org.